winning gold in the 400-meter relay at the Olympic Games in Rio, Brazil. She entered the Rio Olympics in 2016 as the world's second fastest woman. Please welcome English Gardner. English, how are you?
I'm well, blessed. Just super excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, let's go. Super excited to have you. So let's jump right into it today. You've gone through injuries. You've torn your ACL, MCL, and meniscus. When you go through these difficult times, is it or was it hard for you to not compromise your faith and to not make excuses?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the first time I tore it, I leaned more on God. I was like, God's going to see me through. He's going to give me the strength to, attack any mountain that's above me. And I did. I did very well. The second time was a little bit different story. You can kind of get warped into the feeling of, if God loves me so much, if he is going to leave the 99 for me, then why did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, I had to fight those thoughts of me blaming God for what was happening in my life and blaming him for allowing it to happen, or me having to go through this a second time. Like, I remember having conversations in my room saying, God, like, I learned my lesson the first time, like, why am I back in this situation? And in those questions, I realized that, I questioned, I prayed, and I gave it to him. I poured it out. And after I poured it out is when things started happening, that I started getting revelations about why I went through what I went through. And it wasn't until I was in Doha, and a man came up to me, and I had never seen him before. We've never spoken, but he's read my story, and he's seen me run, and he's watched me closely, and he looked me in the eye with eyes full of tears. And in this moment, he didn't know that, the race that I just lost was the race that was supposed to change my contract negotiation, and he didn't know that I was up for the contract negotiation. He didn't know that literally my whole life at that moment was crumbling, and I was just so down on myself. And I remember he kneeled in front of me, he grabbed my hand, and he said, a couple of months ago, I wanted to commit suicide. And the one thing that helped me not go through it was listening to your story and listening to what you've gone through. And the fact that you got up and you kept going gives me reason to keep going and for me to get up. And in that moment, I remember I forgot where I was. I didn't care that I was around a whole bunch of Nike execs. And I just immediately just started bawling, crying, because, the God is so on time. And sometimes it's not our time. And I found so much peace with being able to save a life rather than to change my own. And I've noticed that you cannot preach and tell people that he is this and that if he hasn't already done it in your life for you. So because he has healed me, I'm able to say that he's a healer. Because he has provided for me, I'm able to say he's provided. And even in the midst of now, where I got some things in my life that aren't perfect, but I'm able to sit in the camera and tell you that God is still good, because he still is. And he always will be. And I'm emotional, not because I'm upset or hurting, because I'm just glad that I still have breath in my body. Life is hard. It was never meant to be easy. But here's somebody that is always going to consistently be there. Here is something that's always going to be able to push you. Here is something that's always going to be able to give you something to lean on. And dwelling in the peace of God is unmatched.
That's super encouraging. That's just phenomenal. Thank you for opening up your heart and sharing that too. Last question I'd ask you: what is the potential when you start living for Jesus with no excuses?
The potential is endless, and the road didn't look the way I thought it would look. And that's the misconception, is that people think, when you're a Christian, you're a follower of Christ, that there's this beautiful garden now that you're a Christian and everything. Like, no, life still kind of happens. So I wish people would just take all the constructs that they already built in their mind of who Jesus is and who God is, and know that he's way bigger than that. And I think that if people could really open their hearts and just find out more about who he is and what he wants to do in you and through you, then it's a little bit easier to deal with all of the outside noise, because the gift that he gives in return, the peace, the understanding, the revelation, all of that is our tools to help you keep doing what you need to do.
Absolutely. Well, English, I can't, thanks so much for opening up to us today, sharing a bit about your story, how your trials turned into your testimony. I love that. And we love you, and we're just praying for you as you continue to move forward in your athletic career and in your pursuit of Christ. Thank you so much,
Thank
English.
you so much. This was a blessing. I really appreciate you guys too.